I'm excited to talk about my journey on the cusp and my story and the 3 things that really helped me navigate this and speed up my growth. I think it's going to be really valuable for you because these are 3 things that I always knew were important, but I never really knew how to do them correctly. And it was always the first thing I would skip on my to-do list because to me, it just didn't seem as tangible as someone who was stuck in the doing, stuck in wanting to focus on strategy, stuck on wanting to check things off my to-do list. So without further ado, I just want to go over my story first. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah. I'm an intuitive business mentor, and I have been coaching for over 2 years now. I specialize in helping service-based entrepreneurs really speed up their growth so that they can slow down and enjoy their lives and just be wildly free. My journey started about 2 years, actually more than 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I started my business as a virtual assistant. And this was when I had just lost my job and my home. Not only did I lose my job and my home, but my partner lost his job and his home too. We were working at the same company. And this outdoor education company actually provided us housing and food for free. And when we lost that, that was really tough for us. We actually were sleeping on a friend's spare bedroom. We had our 2 French lop rabbits with us. And at this point, now I can see it. We were totally safe and everything was fine. But at this point, I was really, really low. I was feeling super helpless, hopeless, just really like lost and confused and sad and scared. And I saw an ad on Facebook for becoming a freelancer, and I just said, what else do I have to lose? So I took the course, I began building my business, and I built it very quickly. I actually doubled my yearly income from my full-time job within 6 months. But at around 6 months, I started feeling like something was a little off. I wasn't necessarily bored, I was having success, but something was just off. And at the time I talked to my business coach, and she recommended that I look into consulting or coaching. And from there, my coaching career was born. I had always meant to be a teacher. And so I began coaching, but unlike my virtual assistant business, I did not take off very quickly. I was super naive, and I thought that because I had built my virtual assistant business so quickly, I would also build my coaching business quickly, and I was very wrong. When you begin a coaching business, the marketing and behind the scenes and everything, the ins and out of a coaching business is so drastically different from a virtual assistant business. And the reason for that, we can get into another story time if you want, but basically they're just structured differently. And so I began feeling really low and, again, feeling helpless and lost and confused. And it was slow. I was determined to do this because I knew in my heart I really was passionate about helping other entrepreneurs build a business so that they can be wildly free. And I got some clients and I was growing and I was like, yes, I'm doing this. And then I hit a major just wall. I not only plateaued, but I began to dip down. And this was more than just the natural ebbs and flows of being a business owner. This was like a huge dip, and it really scared me. And this is when I began being on the cusp, a cusp of the breakthrough. And the cusp is what I describe as having this really deep feeling in your gut, in your sacral, that you are really close to a breakthrough. You know it, you feel it every single morning. You wake up and you think, this is the moment. This is something huge is coming. It could be today, it could be a week from now, it could be a month from now, but it's coming. And you just don't know when it's going to come and how you're going to get there. And so I woke up literally every single day. I'm thinking, this is the day. I'm so excited. My business is going to go from struggling to find clients every month, or the clients that I find, I'm afraid they're not going to continue with me, to having clients come in with ease, and my business is reliable. I no longer have to worry about where the next client comes from. And long story short, that cusp, that feeling of being on this verge of a breakthrough lasted for 1 year. And not only did I plateau, but I actually lost clients. I worked with 0 clients for a few months, and I had a lot of shame around this. I thought that there was something wrong, that I was doing something wrong. And so at first I dove into my strategy. I was thinking, logically, something's not going right. It must be my strategy. I must be doing something wrong. So I invested hundreds and thousands of dollars into figuring out how to perfect my strategy, how to perfect my messaging, how to do lead generation, how to master TikTok, how to explode on Instagram, you know, all those, like how to get 5K months, 10K months. And while I strengthened my strategy for sure, the outcome didn't change. Nothing changed. I still was getting clients haphazardly. I was still getting clients kind of random. And hi, I'm just going to look at some of these comments. Hi, thanks for being here. Oh, hey, Sam. I love you. So I was still just having clients, you know, come to me randomly, and it felt weird. Like I was seeing other people online, and it seemed to me like they were getting clients easily. They were, you know, getting these $20,000 launches, these $30,000 launches. And I was thinking, why can't I do this? What's going on? And it took some time of me focusing on my strategy only to really realize that it wasn't the doing that I was doing wrong. It was the being. I wasn't being present. I wasn't doing the inner work, the healing that I needed to do to really have the breakthrough that I knew was possible for me. So the problem, like I mentioned very at the beginning of this live stream, is that I didn't really know how to do this in an effective way. I knew that meditation was important. But whenever I meditated, I just, you know, I felt calm. I felt grounded, but that was the extent of it. I didn't know how to open my channel. I didn't know how to connect to my higher self. I didn't know how to ask my higher self for advice. And once I learned how to do this, I really moved the needle. Also, if you've are anything like me, if you're anyone who's stuck in the masculine, you're stuck in the doing, stuck in the strategy work, avoiding meditation is the easiest thing to avoid on your to-do list. If you have like a to-do list of like post on Instagram, show up on your stories, make a TikTok, I don't know, like fix your website. All of those things seem way easier and way more productive than closing your eyes and sitting for 20 minutes, because that's what I thought meditation was. And so I just always avoided it. But I got to this point where clearly strategy wasn't going to get me anywhere. I really knew deep down in my heart that I was meant to make an impact. I was truly helping people in my coaching. And so not only did I want to fix this problem for me, because I want to have a reliable business that gives me the time and financial freedom to go do what I love, but I also wanted to be available to people who need help, who are like me, who are stuck and want to get to that place where they're not stuck anymore. And so I put my foot down and I finally took responsibility and began doing the inner work. I invested in a mentor that showed me how to actually do it in an effective way. I explored it my own way. I created this routine, this mindfulness, present, inner healing routine that helped me go from here all the way up to here. And so on this live stream, I'm going to cover 3 different aspects of this mindfulness routine. And before we even get into that, if you want to go in deeper, stay tuned at the end. I have a program available called the Cusp, and that program literally walks you through it step by step. If you're an entrepreneur that you feel like you're on the cusp of a breakthrough, that program will get you there. So I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to look at the comments and see if anyone has any questions, but I really love doing live streams where it's interactive. So if you have questions, pop them in the comment section. If you want to DM me, I'm not gonna be able to see it on the live stream, but I can get back to you afterwards. Send me a DM. Tell me that this is making sense for you. Love it when there's comments and we can like make this Like I'm not just talking at 2 screens at once. I want to feel like you're in the room and you have something to say. Okay, so let me just check these. We got on Instagram. Hello, William. Anyone else who is watching this currently, pop a hello so I know you're here. We've got Sam. Thank you, Sam. Love you. And Expanse. Yay. Yay, I'm glad you're here. All right, so let's get into the 3 things that helped me the most while I was on the cusp. And so again, the cusp is this feeling of when you feel like you're on the verge of a breakthrough, you just don't know how to get there. Okay, so number 1, nervous system regulation. I used to be someone who woke up anxious, like instantly anxious. I woke up and I was stressed about my day. I was stressed about what I had to do. I was stressed about the fact that I didn't know when my next client was coming in. I was stressed that I had to pay bills and I didn't know where the money was going to come from. My level of stress was through the roof, and I grew up as a very anxious person. So as an adult, those anxieties just amplified when you had real life problems to deal with. I love to hike, and if you've been following me, you know I am my happiest in the outdoors, but I couldn't go on a hike literally without having a breakdown. I would have these breakdowns all the time, and honestly, that was a huge red flag that I needed to do inner healing that I was ignoring. So nervous system regulation is a tool. There's lots of different tools within this, but this is something to help you feel safe and calm in the present moment. And this is really helpful for anyone who experiences anxiety. But whenever you feel like your mind's racing and you've got thoughts going through your head where you're like stressing out, everything that I just described, doing 10 seconds of nervous system regulation or 30 seconds changes everything. It stops the anxiety. It stops the panic attack, depending on where you are in the panic attack, in its steps. So my favorite nervous system regulation technique that I've learned, I'm going to go over it here on this video so you can do it with me. But I do this several times a day. And there's probably hundreds of ways to do this, but I go over 3 different ways to do this inside of Cusp. So if you want to do this with me, I want you to take your thumb, doesn't matter which thumb, by the way. I usually do my left thumb, and you're going to pinch it between your thumb and pointer finger on your other hand. And then you're just going to squeeze it 30 times. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you might feel yourself yawn. Maybe your breathing gets deeper. Maybe your mind stops. Like I can't even think of what to talk about. You might want to close your eyes. And then once you've done it 30 times, honestly, I lost count because I was talking. You hold it for 30 seconds. So I'm squeezing my thumb and you hold for 30 seconds. Some of the major things that I experience when I'm doing this is my mouth gets more saliva. I yawn a lot. And I can just feel my heart rate go down. Okay. Declining. So that is one way to do nervous system regulation. And I already feel much calmer. My sunburn is so bad. I already feel much calmer. And so there's no limit of how much times you do this. Like I don't think there is you can't like overdo it with this. I would recommend not doing it literally all day long because you're going to hurt your thumb and it's going to lose its potency. But I do it several times a day. Whenever I feel myself getting a little panic, getting a little anxiety, I will do that instantly. And so again, this is a technique to do to calm yourself down. And the reason why this is important for people who feel like they're on the verge of a breakthrough is because when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, your ego mind, your thoughts are going to be giving you all these self-doubts, telling you why you can't do it, why you're, full of crap, why this and that. And to shut those thoughts down, do the nervous system regulation. All right, so before we go on to step 2, I just want to see any questions in the comments. I'm seeing a lot of people pop in on Instagram and TikTok, so I just want to see the comments. Oh, thank you for the flowers. And if you are watching this live, please invite your friends. It's more fun. Thank you for the flowers. Hi. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the love. Hi from Texas. Hi. So happy you're here. I'm in New Hampshire, so we're pretty far apart, but I'm so glad you're here. All right, so we're going over the 3 things that helped me most while I was on this verge of a breakthrough in my business. This is helpful for anyone that has a deep feeling in their stomach that something big is coming and they don't know how to get there. So if you feel like that, these 3 things are going to help you get to that point. It's going to help you cross the cusp. It's going to help you quantum leap. And again, if you are like, tell me more, give me everything, the Cusp, my 12-week program, dives into this with so much detail. You'll know exactly what to do. And by the end of it, you'll no longer question where your next clients are going to come from it. You'll know. All right, number 2. Number 1 was nervous system regulation. Number 2 is grounding. So notice I didn't say meditation here because honestly, there isn't just one way to ground yourself. And grounding is basically helping you be and live in the present moment. So before I started doing this practice, every single day I would wake up and I'd worry about how do I pay my bills at the end of the month? Or I would think, oh my God, I have to do all these things today. Or, oh, I have this coming up on Friday. Or, I'd think and worry about everything that's happening in the future. And I'd also think about things that happened in the past. And so 99% of my day, I was thinking about the past and the future, and I wasn't actually present in the present moment. And you know that you're doing this too. Like once you recognize that you're doing this, you'll start to pick up on it. And some things that happen to many people is like dissociating on TikTok and Instagram and just endless scrolling. If you find yourself like zoning out and watching Netflix or, TikTok and stuff like that, then that's a sign that you need to ground yourself. So, like I said earlier, there are so many different ways to ground yourself, and not one way is the right way. There are so many different ways. And so if you are somebody who has, like ADHD, or you can't stay still, or you have a really overreactive mind, meditation might not be the best way to ground yourself because the entire time you're going to be shutting down your thoughts. So some other ways you can ground yourself is connecting with nature. I mentioned that I am an avid hiker and outdoors enthusiast. So whenever I am out in nature, away from my screens, away from a city, away from any noise, I feel so much calmer, and I'm able to really focus on what's coming through my channel, what's coming through from my higher self. So other ways you can ground yourself, you can meditate, obviously. You can dance. You can dance and do yoga and do some soulful movement. You can go for a walk. You can go to the gym. Some of my clearest moments and connections for my spirit and, higher self comes from the gym when I'm just moving my body. So the reason why this is important, like I mentioned earlier, is so that you're living in the present moment and you clear the space in your mind so that you actually know or recognize the thoughts that are coming from your higher self that's coming through your channel. Because your higher self is already at the level, it's already at the place that you want to be, that you're going to. And so your higher self has a lot of wisdom that we can actually tap into. And so you can tap into that through meditation. And I mentioned earlier that meditation was always the first thing I'd skip because I didn't know how to actually do it effectively. I always thought meditation was closing my eyes for 20 minutes, listening to spiritual music and clearing my thoughts. And that was it. And I'd end the meditation thinking like, oh, I feel so much calmer, I feel so much better, but it never felt productive to me. So one thing that I taught myself during this journey on the cusp is actually how to make meditation more productive. So I'm going to briefly go over this now, but also I will say that in the Cusp, my program, my 12-week program, I lead you through several meditations where we do this together, and you actually get to ask the questions to your higher self inside the program with me as your guide. So how to make meditations more powerful is you go in, you relax, and then you open your channel, the connection to your higher self or to spirit or whatever you believe in, so that you can receive and download the messages that you need to hear. And so some examples of the messages that I've gained from these powerful meditations is the Cusp, my program. My entire program was birthed in one of these meditations. It was actually while I was hiking. Like I said, there's not just one way to ground yourself, but my programs are birthed from these grounding exercises. My content is birthed. This masterclass, this live stream was birthed from one of these grounding moments. So you can learn so much from these experiences. You just need to commit to doing them. So if you want to learn how to do this in a meditation, you do a meditation like you'd usually do. And then once you are at a point, like I'm not going to guide you through it here, but once you're at a point where you've stilled your thoughts, you're like deep feeling it in your body, you can like feel it, you're completely focused on this meditation, ask your higher self what you want to know. So some of my favorite questions is, higher self, help me be the person that attracts my next client. Higher self, what does my audience need to hear right now? Higher self, what does my audience need to hear right now is such a good one, because that one will always give you the, I'm looking at a comment and I'm going to ignore it. It's going to give you the wisdom that you need to create content for your audience, to create programs for your audience. Or even, let's say you're not a business owner and you want to ask yourself, like, I don't know, if someone has a goal in mind, let me know. Like a higher self, what do I want to do today? Your higher self can tell you what they want to do. All right, so I'm going to look at the comments and we're going to move on to number 3 here. So many people joining. Thank you, everyone who's joining. Hi from Texas. Oops. That is not on topic, so we're not going to talk about that now. Hello, everybody. Oh, gosh. I keep clicking on things that I don't want to click on. Hi, thank you all for joining. This person trolling me about God, that's not what this masterclass is about. I'm not mad at God. Number 3. So this is the 3 things that helped me ground myself the most so that I can navigate the cusp and be on the breakthrough of my business. So number 1 was nervous system regulation. This is for my friends who are anxious or for anyone who has a moment where they feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Number 2 is grounding. That's what we just talked about. That could be meditation. That could be a walk in nature. That could be going to the gym, moving your body. And then number 3 is inner child healing. And I'm sure you've seen this all over TikTok, all over Instagram, and you've maybe know what that is, but maybe you're like me when I was coming across this journey 6 months ago and thinking like, what the heck does that mean? What does shadow work mean? What does that mean? So basically, inner child healing means going through your thoughts, going within, and healing your child that was neglected as a child. So the way I picture it is inside of us, all of us, we have a version of ourselves at any different age that is wounded. So one example for me that was really powerful for me healing was I was a competitive swimmer for my entire life until I became an adult. And my childhood coach was really mentally abusive. She was just awful. We're not going to get into that. But there was a moment when I was doing inner child healing where I clearly saw myself as a 6 or 8 year old wearing my swim cap and my bathing suit crying. And so in this inner child healing process that I did, I went up to her, asked her what's wrong. She basically threw a tantrum and cried. I let her do that. And then at the end of it, I hugged her and I told her what I wish I had heard in that moment when I was 6 or 8. I can't remember exactly what age it was. And that process moved something inside of me, some energy that was stagnant since I was 8, right? So I'm 27 now, for a long time, 20 years. So that is inner child healing. What that looks like, we do that inside of Cusp, my 12-week program. So we'll do that together. Sometimes it's a meditation. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's shadow work, where you really confront the dark thoughts that you're having. So the feelings of I'm not good enough. We'll actually dive into that and see where that's coming from. And after you do these things are never done. You're never done healing. But after I've done all 3 of these things, after I've done months of work in these 3 areas in my life, I have felt so much calmer. I have felt so much at ease. I no longer wake up stressed and anxious and thinking about what I need to do today, tomorrow, next week. I wake up without an alarm. I have a slow morning routine where I just get to ease into my day without even looking at my phone first thing. Before, I used to look at my phone and try to see what everyone I was competing with, quote unquote competing with, was doing, and I felt so shitty. And now I don't do any of that. I'm so present in the moment that I feel more in my body. I feel calmer. And as a result, in my business, I am more magnetic. My messages that I say, in my content, or even just showing up live like this, the right people get on the live stream. The right people that need to hear it get on the live stream, and we get connected. And so that means more clients come into my life that, some of them come out from literally nowhere. Sometimes you think you know exactly where your client's going to come from, and then someone shows up out of the blue and you're like, I don't even know who you are, but let's go. So I'm just going to make sure I went over everything. Yeah, so my anxiety decreased from a daily constant occurrence to just happening once a week. I won't say that I healed my anxiety because that is not true. But it's really helped a lot. And I've been through therapy. I've done the work, and this has helped me so much. I'm spending more time doing the things I enjoy. I mentioned earlier that I love hiking in the outdoors, but before I started this journey through the Cusp, I would actually have breakdowns. I'd have panic attacks during my hikes, the thing that was supposed to bring me the most joy. So now I actually can enjoy my life and enjoy the things that bring me joy without the guilt, without thinking I should be working my business, without wondering where's my next client going to come? No, I just go live in the present moment because I have the confidence that they're going to come into me. And then I'm way more deeply connected to my intuition. Everyone has an intuition. This is that inner guide that we all have. And so now I know instantly if I want to do something or not. I know what messages my audience need to hear. I know what I want to do. I live deeply with my intuition, and it's so powerful to know that you don't need the approval of someone else. You don't need to have someone else tell you if you should do this or not. You already know. You are the permission slip there. Oh yeah, and some other ways, I didn't talk about this, some other ways that you can do inner child healing is that inner shadow work. You can do dancing, you can act on your desires. So you can spend a whole day saying like, what do I want to do today? And if your inner child says, I want to get ice cream, you go get ice cream. If your inner child's like, let's go to the county fair, go to the county fair. If your inner child's like, I want to go swim, go swim. Like the whole day, you just follow what you desire. It's really powerful. So yeah, that's everything on my page. Those are the 3 things that have helped me the most on this journey of the breakthrough. Like I mentioned earlier, I began this having this deep sense inside of me, my intuition, telling me that I was on the cusp of a huge breakthrough in my business. But every single day, every single week, every single month, I'd get this feeling and think today's the day, and nothing would happen. And nothing worked. Strategy didn't work. Focusing on my strategy didn't work. What worked was doing the inner healing, working on my mindset, and connecting with my higher self. And so 3 ways that I did that was through nervous system regulation, grounding, like meditation, and in inner child healing, what we just talked about today. If you are joining late now and you want to, I see some questions too. So if you are joining late and you want to watch this whole replay, because I went into those 3 things more deeply, send me a DM because I'll send the replay to you because I'm going to make it available. Last but not least, if you're like, I have no clue where to even begin with my inner child, you're not alone. That's how I was. I literally had no idea either, but I figured it out, and I figured a way to make it enjoyable, make it feel productive. And so inside my program, Cusp, it's a 12-week program, you and me, baby, going together, helping you navigate this really important time in your life, because this cusp, this feeling like you're on the breakthrough of something huge, means that you're on the breakthrough of something huge. And so whatever you do during this time is what's going to either make or break it. It could speed up your journey, it could help you quantum leap, or it can make you stuck on the cusp for a year like I was. But during this program, we will connect to your human design. So you'll learn how to use your human design. Everyone has a human design. It's way more affirming than you think it would be, but you'll learn how to use your human design so you can actually use it to speed up the growth. Then we'll learn how to process your thoughts, do the inner child healing, do everything that I just talked about on this podcast, or not podcast, this live stream. We'll do that for step 2. And then we will then go into your business after you've done all this healing, all this growth, all of this abundance. Then we'll go and rework your messaging, rework your business so that things are aligned, because all that work we did bumped you out of alignment. Well, it bumped you into alignment. And so the stuff you created out of alignment is going to no longer work. And so we got to make sure you're in alignment in your business so that you can actually be in a place to bring in all that abundance. So if you're interested in joining the Cusp, in the link in my bio, either on Instagram or on TikTok, I have a link for the page with all the details about the program. If you're even remotely like, that sounds interesting, go check it out. It breaks down the entire program bit by bit. And then there's also the application for it. So there's tons of buttons on the page for you to go and apply. No strings attached. What's going to happen is once you apply, I will take a look at your application. And if I think you would be a good fit for this, we'll then hop on to a Instagram chat where we'll just talk and make sure this actually is a good program for you. If it's not a good program for you, if either you're like, I don't really feel like this is for me, or if I'm feeling like this isn't going to be a good fit, there's no pressure whatsoever. I will either recommend some other avenue for you, or we end the chat there. So there's literally no pressure. But the only way to know if this is a good fit for you or not is to go to the link and actually apply. So right now, there is an early bird special. You can save $2,000 when you apply now. And once one more person joins the program, then it's going to be bumped up to its full price. So hop in there. I'm going to look at these comments. So, hello, Marvin. I don't even know where to begin with my inner child. That's okay. That's what this program is for. What is it? The program? So psychic? No, I'm not a psychic. I am a intuitive business mentor. So I help I help entrepreneurs, service-based entrepreneurs, grow their business so that they can be wildly free. So they can have the time to enjoy their lives, so they can actually not have to worry about where their next client comes from. If you're not an entrepreneur and you still want to work with me, either through human design or through just a spiritual coaching practice, I do have an option for that in the link in my bio. Just go check it out. But I am not a psychic. That is not what I do. Awesome. So I'm not seeing any other questions. Thank you all who have joined. If you did not catch this in the whole thing and you want to, just send me a message and I will get you the replay. But go check out the Cusp. I also have another program called Unapologetic, so you can look at either of those, see which one's right for you, and let's start talking to each other. If you don't follow me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram, and check out anything else that I've got going, because I've got a lot of good stuff for you all. I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll talk to you soon.